Welcome to Pixel Composer 1.20.8 beta. So let's see what's new in this version. First, we have a new node for creating gradient. We have the grid gradient, so you can define a grid and give it color to different points in the grid, right? And then create a gradient that you want. And we also have the point gradient, which is a direct update to the 4-point gradient. But now it's a dynamic node, so you can have as many points as you want. Then we have the new draw shape 3D node. This is parallel to the draw shape node, right? But now it will draw 3D object. And it's designed to be a similar version of the whole 3D setup. Instead of having the shape, the camera, the light setup and stuff like that, now it's all in one single node. But of course, the cost of that is that you have less control. It's gonna be useful for a simple 3D animation. Then we have the extend node. I spent some time making like an intro video for this node, but it's very simple. It just extend a shape, and there are different control, different types of part you want to extend. You can set it to repeat instead of directly extend the pixel. Then we have the PXC node. Now this is quite experimental, but it's a node that allows you to import a whole project into another project, which allows you to compose multiple animation into one without having to export it first. Like in this example, you might already see this entire video in the social media, right? Each of the scene is one separate Pixel Composer project file. If I do shift double click, I will be able to enter it in the entire project file, right? And it will detect the export node and then use the surface in the export node as an output here, right? And I can use it to compose all of the animation together into one long animation. Then we have improvement to the driver system. So the driver panels are now a little bit more flexible. So it's gonna show the driver for the current selecting keyframe, so that you can keep the driver panel here persistent. We now have a new snap driver, like in this animation, where I have a basic movement animation. But now if I apply the snap driver, it's gonna snap the movement, so that it will move in step instead. Then we have improvement on the already existed node. The tile node now have more control over the tiling, right? You can set the position of the tiling. You can add gap between each tiling object, right? You can rotate the entire thing, and you can even shift it to create like a masonry pattern. The shadow node also get the inner shadow option. The glow node, you can now give it a texture so that it have a different color, different glow color. The image grid now have the fixed grid option, so that you can fix amount of object inside the grid. Like in this case, I fixed it to 16, so that it will always output the 4x4 grid like this, even when I have less than 16 image, right? The composite node also got some improvement over the transformation tools. You can toggle this move only option, which will only move the object. So when you select multiple object like this and then you scale it, you will see that it will only scale like the object position, right? But not the object size itself. Next is an improvement on the user interface. A lot of improvement on the animation panel here. You may already notice that we now finally have the frame indicator here, so that you can type in the frame that you want to go, or you can see the current frame without having to look at the timeline cursor here. We also have the new marker system, so that you can add marker to your animation, and you can quickly jump between different markers with control left and right key. The child button or the hidden button are now moved to the header instead of the sidebar here. And also add like a Blender style hotkey to the keyframe management, so that you can press G to move the keyframe around. You can press S to scale in or out. You can also press D to distribute the key. And there are also this timeline header that you can use to move every single key in the node. And as usual, we have a series of bug fixes in this version showing on the screen right now. So, well, one thing to address is that in the previous version 1.20.7, I have updated the software runtime to run on a newer version of GameMaker, and that caused a lot of bugs, caused a lot of crash across the board. So I'm very sorry about that. As you may already notice that there are a lot of patch coming out since the last update, in the last beta. But I think that this version, because it's the same runtime as the last one, this version should be a little bit more stable now. But yeah, that should be it for today's video. So thank you everyone for watching. Special thanks for all the Patreon supporters, and see you in the next one.